Eminent domain is a taking of property or property rights under the badge of government. Traditionally, the taking is supposed to be for the public good, based on just compensation for property owners. The traditional interpretation, however, appears to be changing. In many cases, eminent domain has less to do with projects for the public good and everything to do with the financial good of publicly held corporations. Today, eminent domain means someone wants your property, and the government helps them take it. This is a story about eminent domain in Bedford County, Pennsylvania. It is about landowners who are victims of legal theft. In this case, by the federal government, which granted an energy corporation the power to seize private property rights. In scenic Bedford County, Pennsylvania, a 2-hour drive from Washington, a group of property owners are fighting for their rights, fighting against eminent domain actions launched by Texas-based Spectra Energy, a natural gas storage company backed by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission known as FERC. The community of Clearville is the proposed location for a 12 billion cubic feet underground natural gas storage facility known as the Steckman Ridge Project. Here are some of the stories of property owners who are fighting big business and big government over property rights, value, and making the right decisions about this nation's energy independence. David Beagle is 47 years old. He has had 2 life-saving transplants, kidney and pancreas. David settled with Spectra Energy because of health reasons, but he and his wife are not happy about it.
Let me tell you my experience with Spectra Energy. I've had a kidney pancreas transplant. I've been sick for a long time. All the badgering they have did. Yeah, I sold to them, but it ain't that we wanted to sell because we didn't have much of a choice when they were talking eminent domain. Pressure it put on my health, I just couldn't take it no longer, so I sold. Other than that, if I would have been healthy, I would have never sold to them for anything.
Before Spectra came, he had 44% function of his kidney. By the time we signed, he was down to 32%. They will pressure you until you give them what they want. We signed, but we're not happy. We signed because of health issues. From the advice of his transplant team, his personal physician, and our lawyers, that his health is worth much more to us than it is to them. And once this project is over, David may be back on dialysis or worse. And you know what? I'm not going to see Ronnie Acorn, Kevin McCurry. I ain't going to see any of those guys again. They're going to be back to their normal lives in Nashville or wherever else they live. And they aren't going to care one bit about what happened to us when this is all said and done.
Constant lies, bullying, pressuring tactics, scare tactics, everything they can use. And then occasionally they try a little butter job. Something goes wrong, oh, well, we'll pay for this or we'll fix this. They think that's going to make everything right, but it doesn't. I'll give you an example of what happens. I was over on my neighbor's ground, and I know there are buried phone lines and buried electrical lines on his ground. And I asked one of the field reps, I said, do you happen to know what's going on here? And he told me, yeah, we think there's a phone line buried here, and that's all he said. So in the process, before they're supposed to by law call Pennsylvania One Call. They did not do that. And 2 days later, they tore up not only the phone line, but the buried electrical cable, which they didn't call the power company to get marked. I questioned them. I said, how long was the power out? They said, oh, it was only out 2 hours. Well, it turns out it was out almost 8 hours. And he lost everything in his refrigerator and his freezer. They are not using the portable johns, so to speak, that are brought in for them. They're going into people's woods off the right-of-ways and defecating in the woods and making a mess. And it's just, they don't care. They say they care, but they don't. So we're pressured, and we just don't want it. We're tired of being pressured, so we're fighting.
They came up to my property to put a well in, and they said they'll put a gate up to keep the employees off of my property up around my house from parking up there and stuff. And the next weekend I came up, there's no gate. He said, well, you have to mark it with paint so they can identify where to put the gate. A couple hours later, I got a phone call. It says they don't really want to pay to put the gate in. But what they want to do is put that towards the package deal, and they'll be up with a bigger check, and they want me to sign off everything and throw that gate in on the deal. I said, no, I'm not signing my rights over for a gate. So that was the end of the gate deal. And I came up on Friday night, the trees were cut down. So I called the representative. He said, well, we really need that area. Then he came over, he said, well, we're not going to use that. Too bad we cut your trees down. We really didn't have to. Then I came in yesterday and they plowed my drainage pipe shut and water's running down my driveway. We just had a good rain yesterday, probably around an inch. But it's just story after story after story. You just can't believe them. And I told them they were offering me $55 an acre, or a year. That was it. $5 an acre came out to $55 a year. Well, that's nothing. So I told the representative if they want to give their gas to the elderly, the people that's in need, it needs the money, the gas, I would give them my gas well for free. They could have it. If they would sign a paper saying that they would give the gas to the people that need it, the needy, I said, I have no problem with that. But he said, no, they can't just give it away. I said, well, do you want me to give my land away to you? So you want to take my land for free and charge somebody else for it?
First time I talked to FERC, they indicated it was a done deal and Spectra was going to have their storage area regardless of what we did. In my dealing with FERC, I have always had the feeling that they had, the less I knew, the better off they were.
This is a fight for principles, property rights, value, and transparency. Transparency to shine more light on eminent domain and the close relationship between big government and big business. For example, on projects like this, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission meets with companies like Spectra Energy, but refuses to let property owners attend these meetings. It is time for the public to learn how the energy industry and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission operates to the detriment of citizens. Citizens who own the fundamental asset, their property. Citizens who will continue to pay taxes on property that has been seized in an act of legal theft. Property that now has severe restrictions on citizens' use of their own property. Property that now makes money for a publicly held corporation. As long as big government and big business can operate this way, no one's property is safe. The good news is, eminent domain is a growing issue among property owners and coalitions in communities across the country. Big government and big business no longer have the playing field to themselves. The grassroots are rising, and you can help shatter business as usual. For more information, contact us through our website, spectraenergywatch.com.